On today's DNVR Broncos show, we're talking about, is there going to be a Von Miller return to Denver? Von kind of left that door open, so we're going to see if he walks through that door and becomes a Bronco. Plus, we're talking about how Russell Wilson signing with the Giants impacts the Broncos, and it all starts now. We know it's always Coors Light time, but is it Miller time for the Broncos? Is 58 coming home? We're going to talk about it live on the DNVR Broncos podcast, where we are in the Toyota Lounge, which is, of course, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. We are the DNVR Broncos podcast. Ryan Koenigsberg to my left, Henry Chisholm to my right. We got Tiff and Dion behind the camera, and Zac Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, how we doing?
Fantastic. Another beautiful day in Denver.
Man, isn't it? And then you just add, I know Henry's excited for the start of baseball, but you add March Madness in tonight. You add the best pass of all time from Jokic last night. And things are as sunny as can be, plus 70 degrees today.
Yeah, I'm so excited for baseball. I really can't wait.
Are you excited for baseball or are you excited for the Rockies?
So, to me, the Rockies are baseball. So here's what I'll say. It's mostly just the Rockies, because the like, having something to do or like one more thing on TV is always incredible. And the fact that they mostly play, or half the time play during the day, it just adds, like, it doesn't even complicate your nighttime viewing schedule, which is incredible. On top of that, though, I am excited for baseball. I was telling Zach, I've got a 15-leg round robin today. With all sorts of different sports.
Round robin is real sicko shit.
Including, I think there's 6 baseball games in there. And so I kind of staggered them, so I've got something all day. So I am excited about that.
Can I ask unit what was on that?
It was a big investment. It was because, I mean, the 3-way, there's 433 bets.
Yeah.
Oh, so my gosh.
And then you have to take the parlay just because, like,
in case.
Yeah, that would pay out a lot of money. But baseball wise, I'm excited today. I think I'll stay excited through the weekend, but next week I won't really care about anything but the Rockies.
All right.
It'll die pretty quick.
That is wild. Are the Rockies on TV, though? Can you even watch them this year?
They're on, yeah, they are. So you can buy, like, the package to watch. They also have 10 games on 9 News, I think, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's others. Fubo, for example, has them.
Okay.
No free ads, but Fubo has them.
So you can watch them.
Yeah.
All games if you want. Speaking of odds and money that's out there, how did we do last week in the All Dogs? No? Okay.
Terrible.
Can we make up for it?
Probably not.
No, is that bad?
Well, you just need one big underdog to hit. It's kind of like what I've realized is the whole point of the strategy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And none of them did. First time since 2007 that no 11 seed or higher is in the Sweet 16.
Dang.
And that's really all it would have taken. Like,
so-
if you just got one.
Yeah, we'd
like
at least be in the ballpark.
Like, when Robert Morris was leading with, like, 5 minutes to go.
No, that one would not have been okay.
Yeah, it would have.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
no,
right. You didn't like that one. But
Why?
that one, we'd be positive.
Alabama.
You don't care about Alabama basketball.
Oh, I've been dialed in on
Until
Alabama
March.
basketball. Mark Sears, come on.
Oh, I almost wore my Starch Madness shirt today, which would have been great. But
Yeah, no, it was bad. We're really just hoping to mitigate the damage.
So we're continuing to roll. with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm a man of principle.
Okay, I like that. But you're nervous.
I mean, I'm kind of already dead, you know? Like, you can't kill a man who's already dead.
Wow. Are you rocking and rolling with the underdogs too, Henry?
No, I quit.
Wow.
I quit. I decided.
Not a man of principle.
No, and I understand. But as you said, like, the math means you really can't. Unless if it was dogs all the way through, there's a chance. But when things are like 2-1,
Oh my gosh, it was
at this
that
point,
bad.
Oh, it was disastrous.
It was. Yeah, I almost said something I shouldn't have said. It was really bad.
It
Gosh.
was really, really bad. But that's why, like, I looked through the games today, and I was like, you know what? I want Florida and Duke today because I think they're really good basketball teams. I'm taking BYU and I'm taking Arkansas. But that
never forget that Colorado beat pretty much this exact Florida team.
Oh yeah,
last year in the tournament.
What was this, like 101-98 or something?
Wow.
99.
I think it was 102-100.
I think it. Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
And then everyone left from CU.
Yep.
Essentially. Yep.
I mean, most of them went to the NBA. That's kind of a thing that we do is put players in the NBA. But
That is the thing we do.
there were some other players who went to the portal.
How many guys are going to the NBA this year from the school that's all they do is send guys to the NBA?
I didn't say that's all we do. I said it's kind
It's
of
a
what
big
we do.
thing we do.
It's
zero
a
or-
big thing. Sorry.
Zero from this year.
Yep. And you
Oh,
could go
okay.
2 more years and average 1 per year over these 3-year span. But after that, you got to get one.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I guess CSU is NBA school in this state right now. Then
They had David Roddy, who got drafted before him.
Yeah, let's get a 5-year sample here.
Yeah.
no. I'm going off this year.
Okay.
Oh, just this. You get one this year. You get
this
Roddy.
year, this
Buffs
year.
had 3 last year.
No. But this
this year. Okay, this year,
Henry.
this year.
We're living in
Okay,
the
all
now. Just like
This year.
Von Miller was a
By
bill.
the way, Tad Boyle developed Nick Clifford.
He did.
Why'd he let him go?
Chose Cody Williams.
Had to get a 5-star.
Yep.
I'm also being a bit facetious. It was a team effort, and Nick played a big part of it.
Yeah.
Nick is
yeah.
the best.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Von Miller because last year he was a Buffalo Bill. A couple years before that, if you want to take a 5-year sample size like you guys want to, he was a Bronco in 2020, then a Bronco in 2021, traded to the Rams, of course, won a Super Bowl with the Rams, then got paid by the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills cut him earlier this offseason. We've touched on this a little bit, but Von Miller has now talked about literally the blue and orange and his return. Before we hear Von's comments, guys, just very initial reaction. Should the Broncos bring Von Miller back?
Yes.
Oh, probably not. If you get the notification, I'm going to be thrilled. But using my brain, I'd say probably not.
And so, Henry, I'm kind of with you in I have to look at this 2 different ways. From a fan side and what that would mean, yes, 100%.
End of conversation.
Well, then there's the Broncos side, looking at it from what the Broncos, how the Broncos would feel about this. I don't see a door even being open for that. So we can dive into both of those. But first, Von kind of left the door open for this. And let's just hear from Von. He was talking to Kay Adams earlier this week.
Friend of the program.
At a tournament,
Yes.
yes, exactly. At a tournament I'd imagine you'd want to be at.
Yes.
Where Cancun golf tournament.
Yeah, NFLPA, I believe,
Yep,
is the
yep.
putting it on.
And so Von talked to Kay, and she asked him, look, you're playing with Brandon McManus. You're playing with Cortland Sutton. You're playing on a team with Brett Rippon. Those are all Broncos.
Oh, the golf tournament. Okay.
Do you want to be a Bronco? Or those all were Broncos, at least at some point. Do you want to be a Bronco? And here's what his answer was to that.
I'm with Brandon McManus,
Okay.
Brett Rippon, and
Oh, he's like the star.
yeah, and Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
So all former Bronco guys. We've all been on a golf course before together, and yeah, now we're here in Cancun, Maricopa, getting it done.
Broncos guys. How's that?
It's great. It's great. You know, I love the Denver Broncos, and it's just able to ride around and be back on the team again. It's a fun day.
Would you like to be a part of the actual Broncos?
I mean, you just had to see. You know,
I mean, this color has always looked good on you. You know.
You know, I've always loved, you know, blue and orange. You just had to see. You know, it's a fun time right now for me and my career, and you know, you just had to wait and see. You know, take it one day at a time, and it's all fun, and you just wait and see.
What is fun about it? You like the?
I think the excitement of not knowing what's next has a sense of. It could also be scary too, but
I would think that fun would not be the word.
I'm not in my perception. I don't frame it like that. I've done everything I could possibly do, and whatever's next for me is what's next. And you know, it's fun. It's exciting. You know, you're looking at new teams and you know new quarterbacks. You can never replace a Josh Allen in the season that he had. But new quarterbacks, new environments, and just a new place to be is fun.
What'd you guys think of Von Miller talking about a potential return to the Broncos when Kay just straight up asked him?
He just doesn't want to get his heart too far into it.
Okay.
I think so. He's just slow playing. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Which is
Interesting.
very different than what
Yes.
he's typically done. In fact, like, while he didn't close the door, he left it open there. That was like the least excited he's been when asked about like potentially returning to the Broncos. After he won a Super Bowl with the Rams, he went on social media and was posting some Instagram stories about like, I'd love to return to the Broncos, and being very, very clear about him wanting to be back on this team. That was like, yeah, I've always loved blue and orange, literally talking about the colors, and like, yeah, we'll see what happens. And I was surprised. I thought he was going to, and my guess is Kay also thought he was going to jump at this opportunity and be like, yes, I would love nothing more than to return to the Broncos and maybe another team, but I would love to return.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can you publicly say you want to get back together with your ex and then end up with someone else before you start to feel kind of silly?
Yeah. Also, like, do we know the circumstance that, like, was this before or after the round? Do we know that?
I think it was before.
Okay.
Do you think he was locked in?
Well, but also, like, was this at like 6 a.m. and he's still half asleep?
It was early.
He did look. Actually, he didn't look. He sounded a little tired.
I would agree. So maybe that plays a factor.
Okay.
Also, conspiracy theory. If I really wanted to play for the Broncos, I would say I really want to play for the Broncos. But if I really want to play for the Broncos and was in the process of talking to the Broncos, then that might be where you're negotiating a little bit. And I don't think that's the case, but maybe that is the reason. Those are the two reasons I could think of why he wouldn't just be out there saying like, yeah, all I want is to be a Broncos, either because he's trying to maximize his money from the Broncos or he's just really tired.
Henry, you're a big snaps percentage guy. Can you give me the percentage of the snaps from the edge rushers last year?
Yes, it's going to take a second.
That's okay.
As Henry pulls that up, I also have a conspiracy theory. Maybe not conspiracy, maybe it's true, but a reason why maybe he sounds like this. And let's get to the snaps. Let's get to that theory after I give a shout out to our friends over at, and these friends you can bring on the golf course if you want. You can bring into your living room while watching games. They are our friends over at Lucy Nicotine. I'm sure a Lucy pouch on the golf course would probably hit big time, especially speaking of hitting, you got the Lucy breakers that come with that flavor burst, little hydration on the golf course. That would be perfect for your golf course. And they've got so many great flavors. And so many people here at DNVR love Lucy. And if you want to get in on Lucy Nicotine, it's 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. Set yourself up with a subscription so you can have them sent straight to your door. And you can even get 20% off by using the code DNVR over at lucy.co/DNVR and use that code DNVR to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use that code DNVR for 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
And shout out to Game Time. Let's see. We're trying to go to this Avs game on Saturday.
Ooh,
which would be a lot of fun. Against the Blues, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Very expensive though. In case you haven't checked, I think we were able to. So we got 4 people and maybe a fifth, but the fifth person's probably going to be like a little bit late, and so she isn't super concerned about coming or not.
Don't do that.
I know. But it would be like close late. It'd be like, oh, I missed like the first 5 minutes, but now I'm here.
For an expensive ticket.
But 5 is tough.
Maybe on Game Time,
in honor
it's
of Rocky
good.
season, missing the beginning of the game.
Well, that is true. That is true. So we're struggling through this because it's like $100 to get in the door, or it's like to not be in the very last row of the entire arena. It's like $125. But the
I'm
plan,
seeing some much better prices than.
oh really? It's gone down. Are you looking for 5 tickets?
No.
Okay. 4 and 5 might be a little bit tougher. Or maybe it's gone down. And again, that's the plan. We're going to hang out at the DNVR bar.
Yep.
We're going to wait, see if these tickets drop, and we're just going to keep refreshing. Because at some point on Saturday, somebody's going to say, damn, I had these 5 tickets that I was hoping would sell, and they aren't selling, so I'm just going to cut the price.
Smart.
You're going to be able to snag them because that's what Game Time's all about. That's why you wait till closer to the start of the game. Game Time always has the best deals. They've got all sorts of like other perks. They have like the super deals, all that sort of stuff that you can check out. That's why we always use them. That's why you guys should always use them as well. And remember that we have a promo code. So if you download the Game Time app, you can create an account. Use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed.
And shout out to everyone that's tuned in with us, specifically the ones that are in the Toyota chat. And speaking of the Toyota chat, I'm seeing a lot of mixed feelings on what people want with Von Miller. Should he return? Should he not? We had someone in the chat who said, you can't look at the bright future if you're always looking at the past. Other people are saying, of course, bring Von Miller home. So let us know in the Twitter chat, do you want Von back, or do you just want to end with him being on the team a couple of years ago and move forward with the young guys here? So, Henry,
in the words of Mike Singletary, I believe, I want winners. I want people who want to win.
I like that. So really quick, before we get the snap count from Henry, I also think maybe the reason Von's talking like this is the X has once again not reached out and not returned phone calls. And the Broncos, potentially, I don't know this, I haven't done digging on it. The Broncos, just haven't expressed any interest toward Von Miller, potentially. And then he doesn't want to be desperate and go on national TV and be saying like, oh yeah, I want to be back with you when she's not picking up your call. It's like, no, you don't want that. So that could also be a reason why maybe he's a little subdued in this now.
Let me paint you a picture of a team, and we'll see if you can figure out what team I'm talking about without me telling you. Team is good. Team has opportunity to add players. Team adds a bunch of really good players. Team gets even better. Team then adds old player who was on the team when they were in a championship just for the vibes. Team gets even better than that. Now the team is the favorite to win the championship.
You're talking about the Avalanche.
I am talking about the Avalanche.
Yes.
And the person that they brought in the Von Miller role in this case is Erik Johnson, who even when he signed, Nathan McKinnon, the best player on the team, was like, yeah, he's not going to play much, but we're going to love having him around. Why not with Von?
Isn't EJ and Von, aren't they very different caliber of players?
Yeah, not very, but I mean, EJ was like one of the best defensemen in the NHL during his prime.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Tiff would know better than me, but I don't.
Yeah,
think
she's shaking her head. No, I think
he was
that's
first overall pick,
I think that's the difference, though.
right?
Is
think so.
think so.
one is a guy that I do think can be that type of role player. I don't know if Von is just going to be there for the good vibes. I mean, he's Von Miller. He's going to take way more of a spotlight than EJ.
Now, here's the snap counts, though. When healthy last year, played 33% of the snaps for the Bills. Year before, again, when healthy, played 32% of the snaps. So you're asking for the 1 and 3. That's basically the third down rusher role.
What about the Broncos pass rushers?
Let's see. We got Jonathan Cooper, 71%.
Okay.
We've got Jonah Ellis, 37%.
Okay.
Baron Browning, 12%.
Okay.
Dondre at 21%. Benito at 61%. And then I guess Drew Sanders, when he played, 1.56%. So that's kind of what you're looking at.
So let me ask you this. Von Miller or Dondre Tillman?
On third downs?
Sure.
On third downs, Von.
Yeah, I would take Von. Jonah Ellis, though,
Again,
the youngest player to get 5 sacks
part of
last
our
year.
rotation.
On third downs, or first, if you're saying like on average, give me Jonah at this point. Third downs, though, Von would be more productive, I think.
And see, I think I would take Von on the third downs for playing that role. I don't think Sean Payton would. I
wouldn't be surprised by that.
I think Sean and this team want to develop the young guys that they have. And when you look at, even though Dondre Tillman is not a big name, even though Jonah Ellis is, a third-round pick that's going to be a second-year player this year, not a big name, they see those guys as both having 5 sacks last year and really breaking out in their first year in the NFL. They want to continue to develop them. So
Could Von Miller get 5 sacks and 20% of snaps?
I think so, yeah. But that's why I have to separate myself.
I think, yeah.
And separate myself from what the Broncos think, because I would want him back. And Nick Benito and Von Miller on third down, absolutely.
Well, and that's the thing is like playoff game against the Chargers, third down. Who do you want?
It's Von.
Yeah, I would want Von and Benito.
Of course you do.
And again, it just goes to your priorities, right? Like, if you're a team that's trying to win a championship, these are the kinds of moves you make. You go out, you sign like a veteran or two on 1-year deals to bring them in to play, DeMarcus Ware played a role like that. I'm trying to think. I guess Avs have more examples, going back to Ray Bork, of course. But, I mean, the teams that are really competing for that top tier, these are the things that you do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Vaughn. Like, it could even be like a veteran receiver on a 1-year deal. Cooper Kupp would have kind of played that role. But teams that are still trying to develop talent and get the young guys snaps, they don't do that, because then you're just blocking those guys from having opportunities. And so I think it comes down to like where you see the Broncos as. Are they still in that like, we're just young and trying to get better, or are they like, hey, let's add this guy and get over the top? And to me, like a move like this, I would love it at the trade deadline. Like if you wind up you're 6-2 at the trade deadline, you can add a piece like this and say like, okay, we're going to take it over the top. Right now, it is tougher for me to commit though, and that's why I'd probably say I wouldn't.
Going back to the Erik Johnson comparison, which is obviously a reach as a cross sport comparison.
Cross sport is always tough.
The point that I'm trying to make is Erik Johnson's just happy to be there. That's what Vaughn would have to be in this scenario. And I don't know where he's at in his career, if he's at the I'm just happy to be here stage. And that also involves the money. Like, you're not paying because obviously Jonah Ellis and Dondre Tillman are much cheaper.
Yeah.
And so unless Vaughn is saying like, I just want to be back in Denver, I'll do it on a vet min. Just give me a role and let's go try and win another championship, bring it back to Denver. Like, I don't know how anyone can say no to that. Now, if Vaughn says is at the table pushing and pulling, then it's easy, very easy for the Broncos to say like, we don't need him, and we're definitely not going to open up the bag for him.
Well, and that's where this conversation goes next, is the contract and what you're looking at. Von Miller just turned 36 yesterday, so happy birthday, Von. When I saw that, I was like, damn, I thought he was 33. I'm still living back in the time when he was a Bronco. 36 years old, but you mentioned the money and what he's asking. Ryan, the thing that I have to remember with Von is he has never once taken a discount. Never once has he taken a discount. He is one of the very few players that has played out the entirety of his massive contract when the team has wanted him to take a discount. But he said no. He had no guaranteed money left on his deal a couple of years ago. And the Broncos said, well, we could cut you because we don't owe you anything, but we still want you on the team. Could you take a pay cut? We'll give you some guaranteed money if you do that. He said, nope, I want my $20 million. And he called the Broncos bluff, and he won. They didn't cut him. He didn't take the discount. Then he goes to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl, then is a free agent. And it's like, where's Von going to end up? And I feel like it came out of the blue that he signed with the Bills, and we find out it's because they gave him $120 million. They were the highest offer, and it also made sense. It was a good team with Josh Allen, another chance to win a Super Bowl, become the first player in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 3 different teams right there. But he's never taken a discount. So I really wonder if at 36 years old, Von would be willing to take a discount. And if he ever is willing to take a discount, it's after he's got paid twice and he's 36 years old. So maybe this would be the time. But when I think about like what contract is he going to take, in the back of my head, that's all I think is like, he's never taken a discount. Is he really going to go from making $20 million a season, $20 million plus a season to vet minimum?
Yeah, probably not. But maybe all of those years of stacking, bands puts him in a position where he's like, all right, fine, let's do it. Let's go back to Denver. By the way, you know who was also 36 years old till about 6 days ago?
EJ?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, your comp's getting a little better.
Yeah, I mean, the differences are also not so big. Like, that Bills offer was crazy, and my computer's too slow to figure out exactly what it was. But I wouldn't be surprised if that came out to, 4 years at $25 a year, probably. Like, that's.
I think it was a 5-year, $125 million deal, and they cut him before the deal was done.
Totally. But when you have that on the table versus 5 years, $20 million, like, that's a $25 million difference. And when you get to his point in the career, and like, realistically, nobody's gonna offer more than $10 million, right? Like,
not even.
I've been surprised by some, like the Cooper Kupp deal, but I don't think he's getting that. And if it comes down to like, hey, these guys give you $8 million, Broncos will offer $5 million. That $3 million difference after all that might just be a little bit different than the big differences. But who knows? Like, that's kind of up to him.
And then there's one last thing, I think, which is when Von Miller was traded, it was part of, I felt like, an effort by the Broncos to like reset the leadership in the organization, and it went all the way down to Justin Simmons over the course of that process. I don't think that matters in this. There's so very little carryover from the last time that Vaughn was here. It's not like he walks into the locker room to like an ovation and like he's like suddenly a leader on the team anymore. He kind of comes in like the new kid in school and has to like re-earn his stripes in the locker room, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yes.
He's Von Miller.
To who though? He's Von Miller to who?
To Cortland Sutton, your team captain, like your leader on the team. Like your most vet
Who
leader
else?
on the team, Garrett Bowles.
Okay.
Yeah, another vet leader on the team.
Riley
And so,
Dixon is gone. Otherwise, you could have had like the full circle there.
So I think he comes in and he is Von Miller.
I guess
in
to
that
VJ
locker
as well.
room. And to me, that's actually kind of a negative for Sean Payton, how I would view it through his eyes. I think that'd be a negative for Sean because, like you said, Sean wanted that complete culture reset. In fact, cut Justin Simmons last year as part of it.
No one's allowed to have friends.
But draft Tez.
The Broncos. That's not. I didn't say
No.
friends.
I'm just saying, like, he wouldn't like that Cortland Sutton and
Sean
Garrett
doesn't-
Bowles know Von Miller.
Vaughn is, even if he's playing 25 to 30% of the snaps, he's still Von Miller, and he is still going to have a big influence on the team. And that I'm not saying that in a bad way. I just don't think Sean wants to go backward. As someone said, I do think Sean wants to look forward.
I mean, this is kind of like we should have had this conversation. Well, it would have been probably a quick conversation, but like yesterday, we were like, are we drafting what we think these teams would do or what we would do? This is like, do I want Vaughn? Yes.
Right.
You're kind of speaking from does Sean want Vaughn?
Yep.
And so it's, I guess, a different conversation.
Well, and that's why there are two different paths here. But when we talk about the contract, guys, what's the most you'd be willing to pay him? Last year, it's coming off like a $25 million contract per year. Obviously, he's not getting that right now. He's clearly entering that third down pass rushing role right now. Would you give him 1 year, $10 million?
No. Not even close.
1 year, $5 million.
Maybe.
And then the minimum's what? $1.5 million
Yeah.
for,
Well, for
a guy his age, two
Yeah.
million.
Pretty
For
high
him,
for
it'll
how long
count
he's
as the
been.
minimum though, because the veterans after 3 years, it all counts as the lowest level minimum.
And then that doesn't matter in terms of like this,
totally.
since it's a salary cap. So you're right. 1 year minimum. You would give him that.
Again, I'm going for the
You.
Erik Johnson move here.
Yeah. So you,
Yeah.
Henry, would you give Von Miller the minimum?
Coming into today, I was thinking no, but I would. I think he
would too.
he just brings in again, like if he hits, all of a sudden you're talking about a guy who all you need him is the playoff run. Like if he gets you a sack a game and playoff run, that could be the difference between wins and losses. So yeah, I'd do it.
I would do it too. Let us know in the Toyota chat because we haven't put that question out there yet in the Toyota chat. But I'm shocked with how many Broncos fans are saying like, no, we love Von, but don't want him back. That shocks me. I thought everyone was going to be like, yes, bring him back unless he's looking for the bag. But no, Broncos country's kind of looking ahead right now.
He's a Mount Rushmore Bronco.
Yep.
To me, that makes that easy.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. And again, I think when you're trying to win a championship, you add veteran pieces who can help get you over the top, who've been there before, and like Vaughn just checks so many of those boxes. Maybe not the position I'd do it, but that's Broncos maybe should be just trying to get as many snaps as they can for the young guys until the trade deadline, and maybe you make a move there.
Fair enough.
Yep. So
But for the minimum,
you take over.
Todd in the comments says we don't need Vaughn back. I couldn't agree more. Do you want him though?
Exactly.
I do.
I do.
I'd want him. Yeah. Yeah. Number 50. Does he wear 58 again? Or
Yeah.
does he stick with 40?
No, he comes.
He's
back in
58 here. Yep.
It would be actually kind of rude if he took 40 because then like everyone's jerseys wouldn't match up.
Yeah,
when
and
they wear him to the stadium, which is probably, by the way, still the number one most worn jersey in the stadium.
Totally. And
Bo Nick's probably going to make a run at that this year.
soon, yes. And then Justin Sternad says, like, oh, you're taking 40? I'm taking 58 then. Like, is this really what you want?
That would be great. And I mean, when Vaughn was with us on the show a couple of months ago, he said, like, yeah, I decided to move on from 58, so that was just a Broncos thing, which is really cool.
Very cool.
Just shows how,
You wear 40 in LA too.
Yes.
yeah, that's when he switched, isn't
Yeah.
it?
The only thing I wouldn't like for Vaughn is that he no longer has the chance to become the first player ever to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different teams.
Yeah. It's the same team.
Yep.
That's tough.
if I were him, and I mean, I guess he kind of already tried this with the Bills, but it would either be the Broncos or any contender other than the Chiefs.
There you go. Okay, I was worried where this one was going.
Well, I want to ask you guys that.
Eagles?
Where is a good fit? And because the Eagles are popping up. The Eagles and Ryan Von Miller seems like such a good fit with the Eagles, especially they lose Josh Sweat. There's one issue, though. One issue which I can't get over the hump with the Eagles and Von Miller. You know what it is?
I have no idea.
None.
Vic Fangio. When Vic
yes.
Fangio became the Broncos head coach, Ryan, you and I probably, I think it was after actually Vic's first press conference, we're like, huh.
That was weird.
That was weird the way he talked about Von Miller. And then months went by, and we were still having the same conversation.
All the while, I was talking about Bradley Chubb like he's the Hall of Famer with the Super Bowl MVP.
100%. It was bizarre, and it never really stopped. Vic gave credit to Von occasionally, but it's not like he was gushing over him. Yeah, Von's Von.
Yeah.
But Bradley Chubb, have you guys heard of this guy? And I just don't know if Vic would really want Von or if Von would really want to go play with Vic, especially because some of Von's former teammates who were defensive players in Denver were not big fans of Vic. And I don't know if that's the case with Von, but that's kind of the only holdup I have. Otherwise, it seems like a perfect relationship for them.
Yeah, that's the beginning and end of it.
Yeah, probably.
Because they love Vic in Philadelphia.
That's wild.
But I think it's just because that's what he's meant to do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
He's
very
made
true.
to be a defensive coordinator who sits in the booth. I don't know how many times we tried to get the Broncos to consider putting him in the booth so you could get the best of Vic Fangio. It was always kind of like made to be a joke or a punchline,
Yeah.
but like I was actually serious
Yeah.
about it. Like
that's
what this guy's really good at. Look at that. He's got a Super Bowl ring from doing that. And maybe it's just an easier relationship when it's just like he installs the defense and then he goes up to the booth and tells you how to what play to run.
Well, and I remember the Bears defensive players because, of course, he was a defense coordinator with the Bears before becoming the Broncos head coach. The Bears defensive players loved him, seemingly, or at least liked him enough to say good things about him.
They were calling him like a Jedi master.
Wasn't he the Godfather there?
Yeah, I mean, he was everything there.
Yeah. And then he left the Vic in the box and wasn't as loved in Denver.
Yeah.
Where else would he be good in? Like, where's outside of Kansas City?
Are we sold that he would not go to Kansas City?
That would be the end for me.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That would be crazy.
Derek Thomas was his idol growing up.
Fair?
Like, and if you're looking for contenders, if it's not the Eagles, it's not the Bills, like you could go to like the Lions or the Ravens.
That's, I think, the dream spot. If he's not going to be a Bronco,
Ravens.
I think the Lions is the dream spot from Broncos Country's perspective. Everyone can cheer for the Lions. I mean, it's Jared Goff, it's Dan Campbell, it's in the NFC, so you're only going to see him if you get to the Super Bowl. And then he'd be going on the opposite side of, why can't I think of his name? The incredible pass. Aiden Hutchinson, where it would only help Von. That's where I want to see Von end up if it's not Denver.
Fine with me. I mean, all the way in the NFC. We're not even going to entertain the KC thing.
Good.
If it happens, we'll do an hour on it.
Yeah.
I would not want that. That would be terrible. Let's move on then to other things. Speaking of someone signing with another team, Russell Wilson in the last 15 months is on his third team. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, man, Sean Payton was so right. He was proven right. And remember how much crap Sean Payton was given. Blasted on national media saying, man, he just doesn't like Russ. I can't believe he's doing this to him. He's going to look silly eating $85 million in dead cap to let Russ go win a playoff game with another team. And then he lands with the Steelers, and it's like, oh, man, he's going to be really good with the Steelers. It's a great fit. The Steelers, there was a report that came out yesterday that Russ wanted to re-sign with the Steelers until the moment he signed his contract with the Giants. He wanted to be back, and the Steelers said no. So Russ had to go to a team with the third overall pick. And this isn't to bash on Russ. This is just to say how right Sean Payton was for making this move when he did last year and how much crap he got. A lot of apologies are owed to Sean Payton.
Well, there's a little bit of revisionist history happening here. I think a lot of the criticism that Sean took was not for the action, but for the process and the way that he went about it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think anyone that was criticizing that part of it necessarily has to apologize to Sean Payton. I'm sure there were some like capologists and people like that were like, if the Broncos do this, they're hamstrung, they're not gonna be able to do anything. Those people got to apologize to Sean Payton. But I'm not defending Russ in this scenario as much as I'm just making sure we remember what exactly was going on there. I think it was our friend Mario who posted this today, and he said, Seahawks fans tried to warn the Broncos. We didn't listen. Broncos fans tried to warn the Steelers. They didn't listen. Will Giants fans listen to Steelers fans when they say, like, this is not going to end well?
Are Giants fans excited about this?
They can't be.
Yeah,
How could you
I don't
be?
think so.
I mean, Russ did take the Steelers to the playoffs last year.
well, Mike Tomlin's done. That's Mike Tomlin.
Okay, but still, I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you're saying like, hey, this guy did get to the playoffs last year. That'd be how you'd do it.
I just,
Yeah.
what are the Giants doing? They have the 3rd overall pick here. Would you say it's more likely than not that one of the top 2 quarterbacks is going to be there at 3? Or would you not say that?
Yes. More. I wouldn't say more likely than not. I would say there's a good chance.
I would say over a 50% chance that one of them's there. You already have Jameis Winston. Like, if there's your veteran, entertaining guy right there. If you want him to start the season, he can. And now reports are saying after the Giants signed Russell Wilson, signed Jameis Winston, that they still might draft a quarterback with the 3rd overall pick. Like,
And they also signed Tommy DeVito.
yeah, exactly. That, I mean, maybe the most entertaining, not good, but entertaining quarterback room in the NFL.
Oh, I thought you were going to say most entertaining quarterback. I was like, they already have that. That's Jameis.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And then you add that to Russ and everything. Like, speaking of an awful position to be in, that's where the New York Giants are right now. I have no idea what they're doing here. And I feel bad for Russ because, like, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah. And if I was a Giants fan, by the way, we have a Giants fan in this office. It's John. He's in my golf league, so I'll see him tonight. I'll find out just how down bad he is, which I assume is going to be really down bad.
Yeah.
If I were a Giants fan, I would just say, like, what do we do? I would rather start Jameis all 17 games than have Russ on the roster.
At least there might potentially, not likely, but might be a future with Jameis.
No, I just want fun.
Well,
And, like, Jameis is, like, exponentially more fun than Russell Wilson.
in every way.
Yes.
Yeah. Other than the interceptions way.
Yeah, but even interceptions can be fun in their own way.
I mean, I
Jameis
get
makes him fun.
maybe they just don't like these quarterbacks. Maybe they do. We'll see what happens after the draft. But if they don't draft a quarterback, then I get why you'd want to have 2 guys compete for the job and see who's like learned the offense the best or who's ready to go versus just having one. But if they draft a quarterback, then it's tough. And at the same time, I mean, there is a world in which the 2 quarterbacks are off the board and there's nothing they can do anyway.
Well, and so my issue with that, Henry, is the way that the Giants are set up right now. Daboll is so on the hot seat right now. Like, he has to win this year. I'm sure it's the same thing with their GM as well. So they're doing, like, win now moves. You were the 3rd worst team in the NFL last year. You should be developing for the future. What they should do is... they should be, if they don't like the quarterbacks this year, then be out on the quarterbacks. Get Travis Hunter with the 3rd overall pick. Get a generational player. Then be bad this year. And then...
It'd be hard to be bad with Travis Hunter and Malik Neighbors.
you could...
Yeah.
And
could put
James
up-
Winston.
Yeah,
Wow.
those interceptions are going to come. And then go get a quarterback next year, but that's not, the organization isn't set up like that because the head coach has to win right now. So, I mean, just what
The
a...
lame duck head coach is a real franchise ruiner.
At the same time, I think with Jameis and Russ, they still will be bad. You know? Like, I don't think you're all of a sudden like, oh, they're not going to win 4 games now. Like, both those guys are very capable of having the worst record in the NFL.
Crazy enough, back-to-back winning seasons for us as a starting quarterback.
True. And, I mean...
Almost.
Did he win? Didn't he miss a game, though? So did he have a winning record that year?
He missed the last 2 games, so he was 7-8.
Okay,
I
so
think
never
because they
mind.
finished 8-9, but
I thought
close.
it was
though.
the other way around.
Yeah,
And you do just, like, you need somebody to go out there and play, you know? And the other options, like...
Jameis.
Yeah, sure. Jameis, like, but you're again like if you might as well have him compete, see who fits better. The other options out there right now, Aaron Rodgers. It sounds like that's not
Somehow worse.
somehow worse. There you go. Trey Lance, who is signing a deal in Canada. Drew Lock, who was just there last year. Those are the guys who made the
Rough
most
Riders.
money. You could go with Joe Flacco instead. You could go with Carson Wentz instead. Case Keenum is still out there. Teddy Bridgewater is still out there. Like the options, you kind of just have to have a quarterback, you know?
Any of those other options, though, I'm like, I see what you're doing, New York.
Really?
You're either drafting a quarterback this year or you're gonna be you're sucking for Arch next year, whatever
I don't know.
it's gonna be.
If you want Joe Flacco, you want Russell Wilson. I'm not going to fault you either way.
Okay, I don't know what they're doing, but what this means is it sets up a potential for Russell Wilson to be starting a game in Denver against the Broncos this year. The New York Giants are coming to town.
Week 1.
You think so?
Might be.
They tried to do it last year and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Giants have the big market. That helps when you're trying to decide like which games are we gonna.
Not prime time though, right?
If you're gonna do it week 1, I think it would be, and that's why I don't think it'd be prime time, or that's why I don't think it'd be week 1. But I don't think you'd bury it.
Well, didn't they have 2 openers last year, like 2 Thursday night games
Yeah.
on the first night?
Yep.
Did that
2
happen?
Thursdays, a Sunday, and a Monday.
So like maybe
There were
there's
2
4 slots
Thursday games. Wow.
Yeah.
because there was the Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
that's
Thursday
right.
and Friday. Brazil's
was
the
it
Friday
Thursday,
game.
Friday? Okay.
Yep. And we know the Chargers are hosting that one.
To me, this Giants Broncos game feels like Thursday night football. Like call that week 8, just
Sure.
whatever. Come look at this fun.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Or I could see week 1, but it being 2:25, which is like the local national game, but like not an actual primetime game because of New York being a big market and it's Russell Wilson. I could see that.
God, please, we need a layup week 1.
Don't
Wouldn't that be nice?
don't let Russ get hurt before, but I guess he was hurt in preseason last year, so he wasn't even able to play
Yeah.
week 2. I want him to play. And the
Do you
good
need-
thing is,
yeah.
shout out to the Giants
Just
because
because you want to see if it's the loudest booze in Mile High history.
I want to see what it's just going to be like. I mean, I want Sean and Russ to go up against each other. And the lead up, especially with the New York media leading up to that game, and especially with the Giants still having hope if it's week 1, I want it to be week 1 because I want the
Okay.
Giants to have even the slimmest amount of hope going into that game.
There's a chance though that Jameis wins the job, and you need Jameis to be the one who gets hurt or benched, so that Russ gets in there.
According to Russ yesterday, he's a starter.
I think. Wow. I think I would start Russ over Jameis. I would start Russ over Jameis if I was running a football team. Again, not knowing how training camp plays out, I think he's the better.
If you're trying to win games,
Yep.
I agree. I'd start Russ.
Yep.
I'm just trying to have fun, man.
You can have Mr. Unlimited.
No,
Or you can
You
Well,
can
yeah.
eat some
steal
dubs.
some crab legs.
And one more thing on this really quick. A lot of people ask, this does not impact the Broncos salary cap situation with Russ at all. Broncos have $32 million in dead cap for Russ this year. Then it's totally...
they don't owe him any more money.
Exactly. They don't owe him any more money. So technically, when Russ signed with the Steelers last year, the Broncos didn't have to pay him $1 million, but it didn't change the cap hit. They still had the $53 million in dead cap. The Penners just didn't have to pay him $1 million of the $80 million owed to him. This year, the Broncos aren't paying him anything, so that doesn't impact it. The Walton Penners don't owe any more or less, but $32 million in kit dead cap, and then it's over. Then we're done with Russell Wilson after this year.
Do you think that the Penners have so much money, Walton Penners, that it doesn't even like make them sick to their stomach to have to pay Russell Wilson all that money? Or do you think it's just like, no matter how much money you have, paying that much money to someone to not do anything for you is still sickening?
I think when Sean Payton tells you this is going to be better for us, and you don't have a reason to not believe him, I don't think it's sickening.
Well, and he was right,
Yeah.
but I'm just curious if it's just like paying hundreds of millions of dollars to someone to not do anything for you is painful, regardless of how much money you have.
It wasn't painful enough to fire the guy that signed him,
Fair enough.
so maybe not.
So
I got to look at what the percentage of their worth versus the percentage of my worth would be
So assuming
Like how much you're paying
Yeah.
someone to not work for you.
for like a losing bet, basically.
Right, right.
it was 39 million they had to give him when they cut him, right?
In cash, yeah.
Yeah. So to pay, if we call that what you paid him to do nothing, that would be 0.06% of their net worth.
So yeah, they didn't care at all.
So for example, let's see. If you had $100,000 is your net worth instead, then that'd be the equivalent of giving him $61. So this again, net worth meaning like your car, whatever, your house minus like how much you still owe, like
So even if you
bank accounts.
quintuple that to 500,000, it's still $300.
But I would
for-
also, it still can't feel good.
You forget about it by the next day though. If it's
You
61
didn't even
bucks,
notice anything change in your bank account.
I wonder
No.
what my net worth is
it's a
because
great
I
question.
bought it less than $100,000.
We don't
and
need
then,
to get into this.
and then you also
Yeah,
have to
but I
factor
mean-
in that they make hundreds of millions of dollars from the Broncos every year.
Yeah, true.
So like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like they had to dip in and talk to their investment or financial advisor and say like, hey, can you pull 39 million out of the investments? No, they just said like, oh, the money that's been backing up for this past month.
Give
Here you
us
go,
a-
Russ.
Yeah.
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 It'll fill up by next week.
Yeah. So I believe
What a world.
this is coming from Google AI. Operating income, so profit from 2023 was 114 million, which was the highest. 2021, 143 million. So, 2020, the year they signed the no, that wouldn't have been a contract. Only 8.2. Oh, COVID year.
Yeah.
COVID year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
you're still running like $100 million profit.
Yep. Not
You'll
the
be
worst.
fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the worst, one of the worst financial decisions that's ever been made in the NFL.
Yeah.
Good team to do it.
Yeah, certainly
Yep.
a good team. Have you guys heard what they're doing with their house?
No.
I'll give you
Is
the
this
details.
public?
Kind of. I think. They're taking two very nice homes, scraping them both, and building. Remember how expensive? Remember when Russ bought the house in Denver?
18 bathrooms?
18 bathrooms, I think.
Okay.
That was the most expensive. I think it was
5, I thought.
25 million. That was the most expensive home that's ever been purchased in Denver. They are spending twice that.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I'm pretty
it's good
sure
to be rich.
I almost thought it was 4 lots. I could be wrong.
It's two massive lots. At
Is
least
it?
it's
Okay.
two homes.
Maybe it's
And
yeah.
Each
2 homes, 4 lots.
homes might be on 2 lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
And it's right in the heart of Denver too.
I hope we never know how many bathrooms are in it.
There's
Yeah.
no way that's ever coming out. They're never
Yeah.
saying how many bathrooms.
Please
Also,
don't.
that was based on Rob Walton, Carrie's father's net worth.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine that kind of funnels. So they would actually have more. He's the principal owner though. So
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's dive into the final conversation of this. But before we do, let's hit a couple of super chats that we have in here. And once again, we appreciate everyone that is tuning in with us. Hit us with a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate Harold for dropping in a super chat. He says, fellas, I want to go to these draft watch party events that are coming up in 4 weeks. Are minors welcome? And how does it work?
I do not know. I would guess yes though, and I can get a good answer by tomorrow.
If I were you, I wouldn't count on Henry for that.
Yeah.
And I would email events@allcitynetwork.com and ask.
There you go.
True.
There you go. I would think so, but yeah, it's good to email events at All City.
And if anybody could get
All
you in,
City
it'd be me.
allcitynetwork.com.
Yeah.
And shout out, and thank you for reminding us, Harold. Shout out to the draft party. Guys, 4 weeks, 6 hours, and 7 minutes from right now, the draft is starting. And we're going to be
Wow.
having a Broncos-specific draft party. You don't want to hear them break down the 5th pick. You want to hear about how the 5th pick is going to impact the Broncos. And by watching our live draft show, that's what you're going to get. And you can watch it in person with us. Go to thednvr.com/events, scan the QR code on the screen. We're going to be at Stoney's, where there's just more room for a big draft party. We're going to have a stage. We're going to be doing a live draft show. We're going to have food there. We're going to have drink tickets there, giveaways as well, prizes. So make sure to get a ticket and come down and hang out with us that Thursday night.
And remember that, I mean, for them, we won't name any names, but some 4-letter network that is not ours. It seems like when they cover the draft, it's like the analysis of the 5th pick, half of it is just like who was the closest relative of this guy who died recently. It's like, oh, guess what? His mom had cancer and he's still here. And it's like, here's this. We like to talk football and not just all the drama that they include.
Yep.
Yes, the manufactured stories.
They love that. They found their thing, and if they're just going with closest friend or family who died, that's how you cover the draft. Go right ahead, Mr. Four Letter Network.
Yep.
With the vowel.
So make sure to be joining us. If you can't make it, make sure you're tuning in on YouTube. But of course, come down to Stoney's. We'd really love to see you there. Okay, so there's some rule changes, rule proposals that the NFL is going to vote on next week at the annual league meetings. Let's talk about some of these proposals and if we like them or if we don't like them. Henry, where are we starting?
This is the order that they numbered them to vote on. So
How many do we have?
we have 7.
Okay, let's go
some
kind
of
of
them,
rapid fire here.
some of them are terrible.
1, current kickoff rules become permanent, with the one change being the touchback goes to the 35 instead of the 30. So in theory, you actually get the returns instead of people taking the touchback.
No. Go back to the old kickoffs.
I'm kind of with you.
I'm okay, not permanent, but if you're going to keep the dynamic, go to the 35 so at least there's
Me
returns.
too. Me too.
Agreed. And then it'll just keep happening, and then people they'll go, what about the 40?
Yeah.
maybe.
They'll stop kicking the touchbacks if it's a 35. In overtime, both teams possess the ball.
Yes. So what it is
Philly
it's
proposed.
the playoff
rule.
overtime rules all season.
Easiest decision ever.
I'd throw out
The
there,
fact that it wasn't that way already is actually insane.
2010 to 2019, the numbers I could find. Team with first possession won 47.3% of the time. Second possession, 46.4% of the time. Hasn't really mattered.
Just
But
doesn't,
sure.
It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't.
Those 47%
There we
of the
go.
time feel terrible.
Yep.
I would just say NFL overtime kind of sucks. Go college.
College ruined theirs too.
They ruined theirs too. Go back to original college is 25. Play red zone
Because
football.
of the,
No, the
2-point conversion.
Yeah,
that's
that's
stupid.
dumb. That's dumb.
What was it? The Georgia Ole Miss game.
yeah.
This past year.
And they say
Went
like
to
Went to
8.
7 or
8 overtimes, new records. Like this is garbage.
Yep.
That's not. This
Yep.
doesn't count.
Yep.
Some penalties will be reviewable. That's the proposal.
This never works.
So
Sean Payton special.
I thought there were a couple that worked out better last year, but they're adding 4 more. Only when the flag is thrown on the field. So there's no adding a penalty. It's only you can take it away. Defensive player, they'll see if there is no contact to the head or neck. A face mask, no contact to the face mask or helmet opening. Horse collar, no hand on the collar nameplate.
That's a good one.
Tripping, no leg or foot contact. Oh, there's actually one more. Running into or roughing the kicker. They can check if they actually did touch the ball instead of just going on. So in theory, it's
Can
all.
they check if they didn't touch the player? Doesn't sound like it.
Doesn't sound like it, because I doubt that would get called in the first place. But
Well, sometimes they flop.
yeah. Idea being that these are all things that you can. It's a yes or no. Like it's not like
Right,
judgment,
right.
and they can just check real quick.
Yeah, sure, Adam.
I agree.
I like it. I will say that in my old age, I'm starting to dislike reviews more and more.
Wow.
Yeah,
I sort
just
of
a
long for the
purist.
days where they weren't even available.
You're gonna screw up anyway. Why? Yeah. Green Bay proposed that we ban the tush push, and the way it's written, can't push a player who receives the snap directly after the snap.
Get better.
Softest proposal of all time. Honestly, you should
Yep.
consider removing their league standing.
Wow.
It's just
Who proposed it again?
Green Bay.
if it's so unstoppable.
We don't even need that market.
That's very true. If it's so unstoppable
True.
though, then start doing it yourself.
Exactly.
If it's
Yeah.
that good.
Yes.
So do it yourself. There's a reason.
Being mad that one team is just way better than you at something infuriates me.
And
Agreed.
it also
Might as well ban the forward pass because Patrick Mahomes throws it too well.
and also there's been no injuries with that play. So like for safety reasons and stuff, that's just a lie.
Yeah.
It's not true.
They're bigger and stronger than you.
Their quarterback can squat 700 pounds.
Go find one.
Yes.
Jalen Miller will probably get up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Bring him in, draft him for that role specifically. Player or teams can bring it back 2 more players from IR if they make the playoffs.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, why not? And then this one's from Detroit. Wild card teams can be seeded higher than division winners. So you just go straight 1 through 7 instead of division winners get top 4 seeds.
Yep.
Didn't Sean Payton at one point say, like, if they don't ban the tush push, I'm doing it every play or
Yep,
something like
yep,
that?
Yeah.
Yep. And that was right before he took over the Broncos.
Have we done it? Yeah, we've probably done it a couple times.
I bet they
maybe.
checked and realized they weren't that good.
Yeah,
That'd be my
probably.
best bet.
Bo's really good. I don't know if the tush push is his expertise
Let's
right
get
there.
let's get on that squat rack,
Man,
Bo.
Taysom Hill come in here and be the tush push master.
Maybe.
Wow.
That's a crazy name.
Getting back to the seeding, I like the division winner. Like, I like that the division matters in the NFL. You get your home playoff game if you win your division.
Oh, totally.
I
Yes,
don't.
that's being proposed against.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just seeding one
gross.
through 7.
Yeah, gross.
I hate that. I hate that you can be in a crappy division and just because you were the best of the crap, you're 8 and 9, and another team goes out and wins 12 games, but there was someone in their division that went 15 and 2. That you have to go on the road. No, give the benefit to the best teams. I like that.
So you're right that is a con. The pro is just that division games
Exactly.
are worth twice as much, which is so much more exciting.
Totally.
No, because you're still playing for seeding within your division.
No, you're not.
But they're
Yeah, you
playing
are.
for seeding
but they
within your
don't matter.
conference.
They don't matter any more than any other game against an AFC team.
If you win your division, you get in the playoffs. So that's not changing. So you
Yes,
can.
it is.
No,
No,
you
it
can-
might
no,
be.
no,
It might be.
If you're 8 and 9,
Wait.
you'd still get in. You'd just be the 7th
Yeah.
seed.
So for
So
one
it's just
division, it
changing
might
the
matter.
seeding.
It's
It's
changing
same
where really
qualifications,
quick we're going
but
to
you
continue this
seed.
conversation over at thednvr.com. Make sure to tune in with us over there to finish this conversation.
Then it just feels like the NBA though, where it's like the Nuggets and Thunder don't really have like a real rivalry, and it's like that's what
It's
like
way
hating
better.
the Raiders, hating the Chiefs, hating like that's
Hold on.
That's
okay.
not gonna
So
change
you win
anything.
your
It would
division, you're
change.
still in. That doesn't fix the problem that you're saying, other than that they're at home.
No. So what it does in the NFL playoffs, first 4 seeds are all the division winners.
Yes.
Then the 3 wild cards are just the 3 best teams after that. So what this does is the 4 division winners still make it into the playoffs, but then they can be anywhere in the seeding. So you could be you could win your division at 8 and 9. You're guaranteed to make the playoffs, but you'd be the 7th seed instead of the 4th seed. And you're not guaranteed a home game.
This is better than I thought. I thought it was just saying top 8 teams, regardless
yeah,
of
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
get in. That's a little bit better. I still... I have to think about it.
Fair.
I'll tell you tomorrow whether I'm on board or
Fair.
not. I don't want to make a hasty decision here.
I like you win the AFC West, you get a home. Like that's what makes that matter so much. Like it would be good for the Broncos if they change it, being the division with Mahomes. But I think again, I just like all the rivalries, and they're already dying. Let's not kill them out the rest of the way.
Interesting. We'll continue this conversation
don't
tomorrow
think it-
when Ryan gets to think about
Yeah,
it.
thanks.
And we're going to be back for this week with one more conversation tomorrow, 11 a.m. And I'll tell you, this is going to be a fun one. So make sure to bring your creativity hats for this one. We're talking stadiums. And we're going to dive into it. 11 a.m.
I'm going to crash out.
11 a.m. tomorrow. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.